Hey, I was searching the internet the other day and found a recipe. It looks pretty good. It's a maple whiskey cake. Well, there's a problem with it. It's not gluten-free, but we can make it gluten-free. So let's get started. What do we do when we bake? We prep the pan, we turn on the oven. Oven's on at 350. Let's just spray this down real quick. That's all that needs. Now we get to make the syrup. Now, it said maple whiskey, and it was calling for bourbon. Unfortunately, I don't have any bourbon. I do have Applejack, though. It'll work. Actually, I've tried this with rum. Rum works really well, too. So I need 1/3 cup of, well, in this case, Applejack. That I'm going to cook up with 1/2 cup of maple syrup. Again, use the good stuff. Life is too short to use bad maple syrup. And brown sugar. Yeah, it dried out a little bit, but I weighed it. So I've got 4 ounces here. Yeah, and I kind of coerced it off of the block, so to speak. That all goes in there. And let's bring it up to a boil. If you get dried out brown sugar, don't worry about it. If you're using it in a sauce or something like that, or I mean, if you're making cookies, it's pretty much toast. But if you're going to use it in a sauce like this, it's no big deal. It's still usable. Okay, I brought it up to a boil and I let it go for about a minute. Now we need to let this cool for a bit while, well, we'll make the rest of the cake. Let me clear some stuff out of here. Okay, the first thing I like to do, as usual, is to get the dry stuff together, then get the wet stuff together, then combine them, throw them in the pan, throw them in the oven, cool it, usual stuff. So, 1 cup of oat flour. Be sure you get certified gluten-free oat flour. It's out there. Baking powder, 2 teaspoons. I do have some cinnamon. I'm not a big fan of cinnamon all the time, but every now and then it's good. This is a teaspoon. Give it a stir. Now we can move on to the wet stuff. Okay, the wet stuff, very simple. 1 cup of milk. Half cup of sugar. Yes, sugar is considered a wet ingredient in baking. It dissolves so fast, so why not? I've got 1/2 cup of melted butter. I'm going to get the rest of the stuff first before I start adding that in. 1 egg. Also, pinch of salt. Now I'm going to start drizzling in the butter. And this is a 1/2 cup. I know, that's a lot of butter for this. We're going to put this on hold because my syrup's pretty hot still. I want it to cool down, get into about the 140s or so. Because we don't want to scramble that egg or anything like that. So, okay, time to combine the wet and the dry. This is going to be a very thin batter. What's nice about using oat flour in quick breads, which essentially this is, you can stir it up all you want. You're not going to develop any gluten. So you're not going to degrade the structure of the of the cake. Okay, one last ingredient. I've got pecans. I'm going to throw a handful on the bottom. This is about half a cup. And then we're just going to pour this on here carefully. We don't want our pecans to move all over the place. They're going to do that anyways, but then take our syrup and we're going to drizzle it through the cake. Oh, by the way, the pan I have is an 8x8 cake pan. All right. Then I'm going to take the rest of the pecans and sprinkle them on top. Okay, into our 350-degree oven. That's going to take about 45 minutes. Okay, here we go. It's looking great. It does need to cool a bit because the starches still need to set. Feels real good. Just nice and spongy. A little bit of crust here. That's exactly what we're looking for. We'll let it cool a bit and then we'll dish some up. Be back in a minute. Okay, it's cooled for about 10 minutes. Still a little bit warm. Not too bad. Let's plate some up. Just going to use a little bit of a butter knife here. There we go. That syrup is nice and gooey. Let's finish off the plate. Maybe a dollop of whipped cream. A little powdered sugar. And how about a little grate of fresh nutmeg? There you have it. My version of this maple whiskey cake. Well, maple applejack cake. And it's gluten-free. Hey, all the ingredients are down in the description for what I made here. And while you're down there, you know, like, subscribe, hit the notifications, all that stuff. Just smash all those buttons down there. I'll see you next week.